I'm looking at the Hyundai website to see if this new Santa Fe looks like, and it's pretty sharp looking, so I called them up and said, can you send me one to play with? And they are. Let's look at the price tag. They start at $34,000 for the base model, but they're going to send me one loaded up with just about everything, which means it's going to cost a lot more. Here's the paperwork. I'm going to put it on my computer screen rather than show you the actual paper. And this was the top of the line model. Supposedly no options aside from paint. Everyone's charging for paint nowadays. Here's all the standard equipment you're getting. I'll just scroll down real quick. You can freeze it anytime on your end. And the second row of goodies. And here's the total tab. I see we have a couple of options, as always. Whoa-wee, 50 big ones. Plus. So they're charging us $1,000 for that fancy matte paint job. We'll talk about that a little bit later. And they have the audacity to charge a couple $100 for floor mats. I mean, come on, you're paying 50 grand for a vehicle. You're going to charge us for floor mats? Next they'll be charging us for air in the tires. Let's not give them any ideas. Why would you do something like this? Well, because they can't help themselves. And let's see where it's made. Montgomery, Alabama. For all you fellers that want to buy American, well, here you go. And I see the safety ratings are not out yet, but are you buying a car to drive or buying a car to wreck? I'm really not worried about this myself. So here's the Santa Fe in person, so to speak. Very nice looking vehicle. Side view. In the rear view. And some YouTube testers complaining about the rear end they don't like, which is kind of stupid because if it was squared off like this, it would match the rest of the vehicle, so they don't know what they're talking about. Secondly, if you have eyes and aren't blind, it's easy to see that this is basically a copy of a Land Rover. Can you guess what model? If you guess the Defender, you're right. Both from the front and the rear. First thing you do when you get a vehicle is check and see if there's a spare tire. By the way, this is 3-row seating. The third row seats are folded right now. Here's the jack. The tire's underneath the vehicle. You gotta crawl underneath to get it. If they give you one, here we do, but on the less expensive models, they might not have one for you. Might want to check and look. Let's look underneath to see if we can find it. Yeah, there it is. Next thing we do is check and see what type of tires they're giving us, because some manufacturers are putting cheap junkers on to save money, but these are Pirellis, top of the line in my book. Pirelli Scorpions. That's the good news. The bad news, these are 21 inches, and while they look cool, anytime you go from 18 to 19 to 20, you're going to lose some ride quality. You go to 21, 22s, I don't care what you're driving, your ride quality is going to straight to hell. So I know before I drive this, that's what's going to happen, but, well, we'll wait and see. Also, if you're on the road, interstate travel, lose one of these tires, no one's going to have it in stock. 21, 20 inches. Last time I got a bad tire on 21, 20 inches, I had to stay for 3 days in the city before they could ship one in. But they look cool, right? I think the less expensive Santa Fe's come with 18, 19 inches, but I didn't check. It changes all the time, so if you're concerned about it, you might want to check. And let's talk about this matte, non-shiny paint job. Some years ago, Mercedes-Benz started this trend. They put matte paint on all their upper-end vehicles that charged $3,000 for it, and people were paying it. So Hyundai decided to do the same thing, and they're charging $1,000 for this. And it does look good on the positive side. Problem is, if you get any scratches on this paint, the body shop can't buff them out. They have to repaint the entire body panel. Ask me how I know. And it says designed to go off-road because it has guy ground clearance and all-wheel drive. And obviously you take it off-road, you get some brush marks on it. This has some on the other side already from someone else, not me. And it's going to be repainted. So keep that in mind before you order this color. I wouldn't do much off-roading if you get this. Same thing with all this shiny plastic. Get this scratched, it cannot be repaired. has to be replaced. If you're wondering what this is, it's a hand grip for stepping up to the luggage on the roof. Problem is there's no drain holes, and if water gets in here, not going to come out. I don't know how that works. It's 110 degrees out here and I'm melting, so I think we need to get under this tree. To continue this video, the camera's going to melt as well. Under the hood, no more V6s. Turbo 4, 2.5 liter, 277 horsepower, torque rating of 311 pounds-feet. Victor an 8-speed automatic transmission. With all-wheel drive, they claim 20 to 28 mpg. A lot of manufacturers are going with V6 and Turbo 4s in their cars, and that's okay because cars are light. Don't strain the turbo. You put this in a heavy vehicle, it's 4,500 pounds plus. Turbos don't like engines like that, especially if they're small. I'm not really pleased that they offered this engine instead of a V6, but a lot of manufacturers are doing that for fuel economy reasons, at least on paper. In the real world, they don't always match up. So we're going to take 500 miles on this and see what we get. I'd stick around for the whole video if I were you. You don't want to miss that. And here's a quick look at the cabin from far away. Very, very modern. Very, very nice. I'm impressed. Very simple to use. Climate controls. Your drive mode. Oh, and by the way, this air conditioning system is fantastic. Lots and lots of cold air. Unlike a lot of vehicles I've been driving lately where you're out in 115 degrees and you're melting. Not a problem here. Very good climate system. A very nice modern interior we've got here. Nice gauge cluster. The transmission shifter is on the column now instead of on the console. Good place to put it, out of the way. Some people complain because they can't see it, which is BS. You can see it right here. You don't need to see it, it's all feel. Just switch it forward for drive, back for reverse, inside for park. Why do you need to see it? If you need to see it, you shouldn't be driving a vehicle as far as I'm concerned. For sport, normal, snow, my drive, we'll be driving in normal mode for this test. And we use the turn signals. There's a camera that shows you what's on your side, both left and right. Down here, some phone chargers. And when I first saw the radio stuff was on the screen, I got very mad because I want a volume knob, I want a tuning knob. And then I looked down, oh, here we got a volume knob and a tuning knob after all. So no more complaining. And these channels are very easy to set. Blue star to save your favorites. Get away the blue star, take it away. Very, very simple. In the program, you have a way of disconnecting all those stupid safety nannies that screw up your driving. Down here is the glove box, and up here is what people will think is another glove box, but actually it's an ultraviolet light decontamination system. You put your wallet, keys in there, close it, then you turn on the light. In 10 minutes, everything's supposedly decontaminated. I'll bet there's a lot of people that buy this vehicle and has no clue what this is or what this is for. Now you know. There's one feature that upgraded Hyundais have called Sounds of Nature. And let's see what we have here. Sounds of meditation. If you want to meditate, do it at home. Don't be meditating in your car, especially if it's moving. And we have another one, rainy day. I don't hear water coming up underneath the car. Are you kidding me? It could be a broken water pump. That's a sound I don't want to hear. And they used to have a fireplace crackling on here. I guess they pulled it out. Hopefully so, because I don't want to hear the sound of fire coming out from underneath the dash. Do you? I'm not going to play the sounds because they're copyright issues. I like Hyundais, but they put some weird stuff in their vehicles, and the Sound of Nature is one of the goofiest things I've ever seen, but you don't have to turn it on. I'm just turning it on to show you, and I'll quickly turn it off. Let's take this out for a drive, and the power steering is reasonably light. If you put it in sport mode, a bit heavier, although not much really feel. I don't think the average person will care. The suspension is reasonably smooth, but like I mentioned earlier about these big tires, thump, 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 thump. You hear it, you feel it. So we'll make sure your tire pressures are exactly where they belong. If they're overfilled, you're really going to destroy your ride. From a stop, this engine has a bit of turbo lag at low RPM. It takes about a second or two to get moving. I don't really care for that, but it's just the way it is. I was told you put it in sport mode, it helps eliminate the problem, but I really don't notice any difference myself. Once the vehicle gets moving, there's more than enough power. once it gets moving. Downshifts are pretty good on the transmission, regardless of what mode it's in. So for the rest of this test, it's going to be fuel economy numbers. So let it begin. Let's look at some fuel economy numbers. I took a highway trip, 129 miles. First half I was getting 23 mpg with the cruise control on, but I was in a hurry. So we put the pedal to the metal, passed everybody as fast as we could, and dropped down to 19.8. And this is what happens when you press a turbocharged engine in a heavy car. They start sucking gas. And this is our second trip. Did around 8 miles on the freeway, around 65 miles per hour. In some city traffic, 21.4. And I might add, this was all done in the daytime. Temperatures at least 100 degrees or more. And turbo engines don't like heat. So in a cooler climate, I think we might do better if we get a chance. Stay tuned. Here we set the computer to 0, did stop and go driving in city traffic only. Trips around 3-4 miles each, 14.9 mpg. If you don't like it, leave a comment section, but remember, I'm just the messenger. We're going to take another highway trip, and tonight it's kind of cool at 77 degrees. And turbos don't like heat, but this turbo should like this temperature, which means we'll probably get better fuel economy than did the last highway trip when it was over 100 degrees. Well, maybe not. We'll find out soon enough. This is a pretty smooth highway cruiser, and if you're on smooth pavement where those big tires don't thump around, it's even better. And everything lights up very nice. Here's our highway trip, but I was babying it. 26.5 is the best we're going to see, I think. So what's my take on this Santa Fe after a week of driving? I have to say, this is one of the plushest cabins I've ever sat in for the money. And all the controls are very easy to use. They did a very, very good job on this as far as the interior goes. And outside, it's a very good looking vehicle. I think I'd pass on this $1,000 paint job. Too much hassle for me. And I really wasn't impressed with the fuel economy, but it's really hot in this climate right now. And turbos don't like heat. If you live in a cooler climate, you should do better. Overall, this is a very nice vehicle. And if you want to see the video we did on the headlight test and night drive, here's a link coming up. Click and watch.